we become aware of our issues mostly through our emotions. This has to do with that relationship. So when we register something as upsetting, the first place we experience it usually is in the emotions. It's what we mean when we say, I'm upset. I'm upset because this is going on. I'm upset because it's a statement about an emotional disturbance. It's what we mean when we say, I am upset. But really, as it turns out, emotional reactions are simply physiological responses to our thoughts and perceptions. Remember, these levels align. I said, if you think you have a great job, you're going to feel good going to work in the morning. So how we feel is largely determined by what loading we put on a situation. So if you get that idea, going the other way, if I'm feeling upset, there must be something I have in my mind that has been violated in order for me to be having that experience. And that gives us a lot of leverage about where to look for the barriers that Rumi was talking about. We perceive through these perceptual filters, which are determined by these definitions of reality. And what are definitions of reality built upon? They're built upon what we call misinterpretations of earlier experience. Misinterpretations of early experience. What's a misinterpretation of early experience? Good question. From a spiritual perspective, it's coming to believe anything other than the reality that you are a divine, loving being having, well, let's call it a largely ego-centered human experience. You get that? We buy into this notion of the way things are, and then we evaluate everything on that basis. Positive, negative, all of it, whichever way you go, is based on an ego-centered reality of a misinterpretation. The truth is, I'm a divine, loving being having a human experience. End of story. So when you're dealing with this whole right-wrong thing, invariably you're going to be in judgment, and you're always going to have emotional reactions. These reactions tend to get anchored in the body. You eventually wind up with habitual emotional responses to certain situations, and it seems as though it's the situation that's triggering the response. It's really not. It's the fact that you made it into a right or wrong thing that triggers the emotional response. Once the habit forms, we tend to lose track of the underlying interpretation upon which the reaction is actually based. It's a good thing we do that. I mean, in a way, from a survival point of view, because it's like you skip the middle step. You take less time. The thing happens, you respond. You don't have to go, oh, I'm against that or I'm for that, and then have the emotional reaction. See, that's not efficient in terms of the way we process. Oh, that happened. I got upset. It must be in the thing that happened. Very, very important to understand that. So the good news about all this, there is good news here. There is good news. The good news about all this is that the mental realm is the easiest one to work within. It's the easiest one to work within. And the reason that it's the easiest one to work within is that we do have total dominion over what we choose to think. You really do have dominion over what you choose to think and what you choose to believe. And if you don't like the way you have interpreted something in the past, there is nothing that prevents you from reinterpreting according to a new definition of reality along the lines of, well, if I look at this through soul-centered eyes, how do I see it? Why not choose to interpret everything that way? That's the opportunity that's available to us. The key here is to surface the underlying limiting interpretations and then choose new interpretations that serve us better in the here and now.